Perky Planes and RC here, operating at 2.4 gigahertz and Big K again. Alright, well, hopefully everybody out there is doing great. I just want to kind of chime in here and tell you guys that this week has been kind of a crazy week in that we're actually getting ready to take a very last minute impromptu vacation, so I haven't really was able to get a whole lot prepared for this week, and we've been focused on vacation stuff and whatnot. So, you know, no flying or anything in this particular video. You've got to stare at my ugly face again. So, I'm sorry about that. Something I did want to kind of talk about, though, and I thought about saving this for after the flight, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it now. It's just to kind of share my experiences and my you know, just my experiences with building the FT Simple Storch. This is my first ever flight test build, so it was quite the learning experience, I will say that. If you guys saw the baby blender, most all of that was built by my wife. I really had very little to do with that. She actually is the one who did most all the construction, the glue, the cutting, everything. I think I put the servos in and just a few basic things. But the FT Simple Storch is all me. I have done the entire thing myself. And I kind of do that just so I can kind of prepare myself for future builds and just kind of get a good feel for how the process works. Overall, I think it came out pretty good for a first time. Obviously, it's not going to be as perfect as they show in the build videos. But overall, I think it did turn out pretty well. A couple things that I came across here is, and this was pointed out from others in my previous storage videos, always use a sharp blade. If you have any kind of imperfections in the blade, if it's not sharp enough, it is going to show whenever you're cutting the foam. You're going to get little, you know, nicks and things like that along the way, so definitely always use a sharp blade. Something else, you know, it definitely doesn't hurt at all to have, you know, handy tools around, such as, you know, of course, a ruler, tape measure, yardstick, whatever. Other handy tools like a protractor or something to give you a 90-degree angle, so you can kind of, you know, make sure everything is straight and true. And of course, always use your eye as well to sort of, you know, to eyeball how something is actually going to look. I actually had to go back and redo one part because when looking at it, the angle was completely cockeyed, so I had to kind of go in there and basically take it partially apart and redo it and make it look more true and more, you know, more exact and everything. So definitely keep tools like that around. They will definitely come in handy. As far as anything else, another thing is take your time. There's no reason to rush. As you saw, I took a very long time putting this one together. I wanted to kind of take my time, get used to the process, and try to make sure everything was looking as good as I possibly could. Now, this was, of course, a scratch build, so it was going to take longer anyways, just because I had to actually cut the pieces out. The C duct, which will be featured in later videos, is a speed build kit. Everything's already cut out, so you know that one will probably be assembled a lot faster. But this one, the Storch, it was a complete scratch build. So, you know, like I said, definitely take your time with it. You know, so please, you know, take your time with actually constructing it. There's no reason to rush. Especially right now where the weather's been so crazy, I can't really, you know, have good opportunities to fly it. So, and actually, that's something to point out as well. This is how it literally worked. I would, you know, make some progress on the Storch, and there would be a perfect sunny day that would be great to fly it, and I was not done. I was not finished. I had other stuff on the Storch that needed to get done first. So, you know, it's like there was little setbacks like that. And there was other times that, like, it was, you know, definitely almost ready for a maiden, and the weather was absolutely terrible. So, I had to fight that a lot. But, you know, for this being a first build, I wanted to take my sweet time with it and just really kind of to make sure I understood the process and all the different cuts and bevels and things like that, you know. Really kind of, you know, see how that works together. I would imagine, I feel myself that in future videos with flight test stuff, that the builds are just going to get easier for me now that I'm kind of used to how they do things and how things are done. I think that future builds are going to go together a lot quicker and a lot smoother. But the FT Simple Storch definitely, I'm saying definitely a lot, aren't I? The FT Simple Storch is one I would, you know, highly recommend for a starter plane to build if you're wanting to dive into the flight test stuff. As far as anything else with the Storch, I will say this is kind of an update to it. I had to, due to some recommendations from some other people that have been doing this a lot longer than I have, my amperage on the motor was very close to the max of the ESC, which is 30 amps. If you watched the video, my last video, you probably saw that, where I did the actual watt meter test. And even with the fully charged battery, it was pushing very close to 30 amps, and I did not want to take a chance of frying my ESC on a maiden flight or anything. So what I've decided to do, with the help of some other people, is I basically have backed the prop off to a 9-inch to help with the overall load on it, and to help kind of keep the amps below the max there. So basically at this point right now, as soon as that prop, or actually I ordered a couple props actually. As soon as those props come in, I'll do another good quick watt meter test, and probably after that, it'll be time for a maiden. I'm gonna make a promise to you guys. The next Storch video you're gonna see is a maiden flight. I promise. Okay. Now, in the meantime, there might be some bad weather, and I may have to hold off on a maiden, but the next Storch video you're going to see is the maiden flight of that thing. So you have my word. And as far as anything else, I really can't think of anything. It is really a neat and fun process to construct these planes out of foam board. It's just kind of a whole really neat experience. So you know, if you're kind of into building or want to check it out, I highly recommend it. I think it's been kind of fun. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. Like I said, vacation is actually just right around the corner for us. So, and I'm going to probably try to get some RCing done on vacation. I'll probably have some footage or something from that when we get back. So, but anyways, thank you guys again for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next week.